I was hooked. Zayd. He could call me Little Mouse any day, of any time, of any week, of any year. Like what? Zayd is Caleb. It's just wild, you guys. Absolutely loved it from beginning to end. And I tell you guys, I had to just sit down and read the whole thing in a day. That's what I did, baby. Hey playmates, welcome back to our clubhouse. Happy New Year 2024, baby. And okay, so today's video, y'all, I'm going to be telling you guys my top 23 of 2023. I think that's going to be really exciting. This was really difficult to do because I don't know, y'all. I read a bunch of bangers this year. I was going to do a top 10, but that was extremely hard because I read 81 books in 2023. So I'm pretty proud of myself. I never read that many books in 1 year before, so that was pretty amazing. And I don't know, it just was a really good reading year for me. So that was just amazing, very exciting. So I read a bunch of really good books, so it's very difficult for me to narrow it down to all the way down to 10. So I gave myself some grace and was like, I'm gonna do 23 books, my top 23 books of 2023. So I'm excited for this, y'all. You guys also enjoyed the beautiful, background. It feels really nice. So let's get into it. This was extremely difficult because I read so many good bangers. And yes, you guys, I get most of my reads. I really select my books really carefully, and I make them really sound interesting to me, because my time is very precious. I don't have time just to be reading books that don't interest me or don't pull my interest. All of these books are really pretty much really good, so let's just get started. And I'm not going to put them in any type of order, so I'm just going to give it to you guys, okay? So don't be like ranking them or anything. I'm just going to give it to you. So let's go, y'all. I'm nervous. This was extremely difficult. It took so long and I kept adding books, removing books. It was really difficult for me. So let's get started. So one of the books out of the 23 is May Fly by CJ Lead. I got this book off of Jan Agaton's channel. She really likes this book, horror, if you like serial killer type stuff, then you would definitely love May Fly. I absolutely did. I eat it up. As you guys know, I absolutely love gory stuff and horror, and the main character, Maeve, she's obsessed with Halloween and spooky, creepy stuff. So that was amazing. You pretty much get everything in this book, which is super cool. You get romance, you get horror, you get murder, serial killing type stuff. You get just a lot of twists and turns in this book, a lot of shocks that I was like, what? But yeah, this book is absolutely insane. I know a lot of people related to the Mind F series, which I also read during the last week of 2023, so that was pretty crazy. So yes, you guys, I absolutely love May Fly. I liked the horror playlist. I did a bunch of songs to one of my playlists because she mentions a lot of creepy songs in there, so that's pretty cool. You even get a hockey romance, which is wild. Like what? You pretty much get everything. May Fly has something for everyone, but do check your trigger warnings. It is very just bizarre, very insane. So you have to be in the right mindset, and it's kind of funny at times in a way, like dark humor. So yes, but I love it. Definitely my whole vibe. I got everything I love in that book, so that was pretty fun. And the ending, yo, I was so frustrated with the ending, but what, man? I felt so I'm just gonna keep my mouth closed. But Akhtar this year, which was really exciting. I read A Court of Thorns and Roses, and then I read A Court of Mist and Fury. The book girlies, the book talk did not let me down with that. It's all over BookTube, book talk, Bookstagram, and it's for a good reason. Especially A Court of Mist and Fury, which is book 2 of the Akhtar series. Y'all, the way that my jaw dropped, the way my opinions of certain characters changed based off of A Court of Mist and Fury is wild. We get more Rysand, which you guys know I love, like villainous types. When they wear like all black, they have jet black hair, that is my type. So I absolutely love you know, the Night Court King. So absolutely love Rysand. You guys can watch my A Court of Mist and Fury reading vlog. I have a reading vlog of A Court of Thorns and Roses. I will link it in the description box below, and then I have my reading vlogs on A Court of Mist and Fury, so I will link the first one of those vlogs in my description box below. But yes, you guys, absolutely ate it up. I cried at so many parts. There's so many just emotional, dramatic parts in this fantasy series. I absolutely love it. You get these fae, you get kind of like this romancy. So I absolutely just loved it so much. Okay. Yeah, we get to learn more about Rysand. Absolutely love it. We also get introduced to new characters, which I absolutely enjoyed as well. So just so many beautiful scenes that just will stick with me forever. I took so many screenshots of pages, and I just love it. I loved it so much. 3, we have Silent Patient. So I read Silent Patient in the beginning of the year and absolutely ate it up. I read it in a day. It's by Alex Michaelides. So yeah, it was a 1-day read for me. From the first page, I was hooked. I was like, oh my goodness. Psychological thriller. You have to read Silent Patient. You have to. Theo, man. Theo. I can't even. So it was absolutely really, it was in first person, and we were really kind of, well, at least I was kind of like I wasn't really trusting Theo all the way, because he is very questionable and he is a psychotherapist himself, but I felt like he had some loose screws with himself as well. But very interesting, like the whole concept of he has a patient that won't talk is pretty wild, and he's trying everything he can to make her talk. And he, like I said, he has his own issues, he has his own therapist. So it's just wild, you guys. Absolutely loved it from beginning to end. And I tell you guys, I had to just sit down and read the whole thing in a day. That's what I did, baby. And then I was like, Mom, you have to read this. My mom, she's also here on YouTube. She reviews books, perfume, makeup, fashion, gratitude journals, everything. So her channel is at Sassy Diva JJ. So yes, but we just kind of read books together and then we talk about them. So I was like, Mom, you have to read this book like right now. So absolutely love Silent Patient. Then we have Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. Okay, so Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell was my first book by Lisa Jewell. Like, my library has pretty much all of Lisa Jewell's books, so I was like, okay. So I picked Then She Was Gone because that's the one that I saw the most on my book talk and booktube and stuff, and it sounded interesting. Pretty much you have this Ellie who goes missing, and it's this mom, she's grieving over her daughter who was never found, and we're trying to get like this story of what happened to Ellie and what's going on with this new stranger she meets, and he has a daughter named Poppy, and it's just this whole thing. I was living for the POVs of certain characters. It was a lot of secrets, very mysterious, very creepy, and that's when I fell in love with Lisa Jewell's writing. I was like, I have to read more. I find myself as a Lisa Jewell expert at this point because I've read a bunch of books by her. So I have a video there where if you need like a guide of what to read by her, I got you, sis. So absolutely love Then She Was Gone. definitely gave it 5 stars. It was chef kiss, very creepy, so absolutely love it. The next book we have is The Maidens by the Alex Michaelides, the same author who wrote Silent Patient. I read that maybe in, I want to say November. And you guys, absolutely loved it just as much as I loved Silent Patient. I was nervous. I was like, I don't know if it's going to be as good as Silent Patient. You guys, at this point I will always read anything that he writes, because the way I was screaming, just gasping, absolutely love it. I was guessing, pretty much guessing who was like this serial killer and murdering these girls on this campus. We also have the main character, another psychotherapist, and she has her own issues. She's going through like grief, mourning of her husband that she absolutely loved. She was kind of like a introvert, so she really absolutely loved her husband, because she's not really an open person in the get-go. And so she also has this niece who goes to the college that the murders are taking place. So it's really interesting. It's another guessing game, what's going on. The Maidens was definitely more creepy, more gory, and had more like horror aspects than Silent Patient. So I was really excited about that, because it was definitely had me on my toes, and more of a creepy, scary vibe, and more gory. When I say gory, I mean gory. Like, these murders were horrific. So absolutely love The Maidens, 5 stars. I would recommend you guys to read Silent Patient first. It will definitely elevate your experience because of something. So yes, if you haven't read them, I would suggest you to read Silent Patient first. It's going to make your reading experience so much better when you read The Maidens. So yeah, you don't have to, but I strongly suggest you to. The next book we have is the Shadow and Bone trilogy, baby. So much by Lee Bardugo. As you guys know, I will keep saying it in all of my videos, basically. If you did not know, the Darkling is my husband. I absolutely love the Darkling. I can't wait till I read. So I've read Shadow and Bone, Six of Crows, and I finished the duology. So now I have the King of Scars duology to read, and then after that I'm gonna watch the Shadow and Bone on Netflix. So I can't wait for that, just to see this world come to life. It's super exciting. So yes, but I absolutely love the Shadow and Bone trilogy, specifically book 2, Siege and Storm. I absolutely love that, because we get introduced to new characters, and one of the characters that we get introduced to is one of my favorite characters. Like, we have the Darkling, and then we have Sturmhond, the privateer. Heavy on the privateer. On the privateer. So yes, absolutely love King Nikolai. Absolutely love that. So that's why I love Siege and Storm the best out of the 3 books, but I absolutely love all 3 of them. And the Darkling is my husband. I have so many quotes by him that I love, and he's one of my favorite villains. I do this because I feel like I don't know, he's a villain, but you feel for him so much, and I don't know, I just love him. Okay, he means well, like society made him into a villain. Is being like the king of Darkling, and he has his little shadow minions. Absolutely love, super cool. So I absolutely fell in love with that trilogy, one of my favorite series ever now. The next book, number 8, is Hooked by Emily McIntyre. I absolutely love Hooked. Hooked was my first book by Emily McIntyre, and Hooked is part of the Never After series. So if you like villains like I do, if you like Once Upon a Time like I do, this is definitely like a spicy Once Upon a Time series. So if you're a fan of Once Upon a Time and like dark romance, then you will absolutely After series. So Hooked, like I said, was my first book by her. I read 3 so far. I read Hooked, Twisted, and Crossed. So those are the 3 books I've read so far, and I can't wait to read Scarred and Wicked. But anyway, so back to Hooked. After Hooked, I loved Captain Hook and anyways, especially for time. So I was really stoked about this. And it's super cool because she pretty much takes like these folktales and Disney stories that we love, puts them into the real world. So there's not really actual like magical powers, but the characters are based off of the fantasy stories that we love. So this book is filled with revenge. You pretty much have Captain Hook, and he's on like this revenge quest, and in doing so he pretty much falls in love with Peter Pan's daughter, Wendy. But is it just for revenge, or does he like really love her? That's the thing. It's very spicy, definitely trigger warnings, and just yeah. And when I say trigger warnings, I mean trigger warnings, but I absolutely love it. It's definitely dark romance. Absolutely loved it, you guys. The twist at the end was everything. It was just amazing. The next book, we have book number 9, The Coldest Winter Ever by Sister Soldier. This is one of my mom's favorite books, so she was like, Maya, you got to read this. So I read it, maybe during Christmas time is when I read it, which was pretty wild. I absolutely loved it. 5 stars right off the bat. Sister Soldier did her thing with this book. It was very heartbreaking. The character Winter, she is very cold and just heartless, and the truth hurts, and it was really like a street book, and just about like the consequences of what happens when you like just the choices that we make, and how crime, drugs, and things ruin our lives basically. Definitely in the Black community, and just yes, I absolutely love Midnight, so I can't wait to read his books as well. But that was pretty cool, just Midnight and just all the representations of the characters. I read her character analyst at the end, which I absolutely loved. It really broke down each character. I really felt bad for Winter's mother the most, because like what happened to her was like very shocking, and how she was on the top and how she went to the bottom so quick. It was just really heartbreaking, and definitely a book that's gonna put you through the ringer, really pull on your emotions. And yes, so I think there's a book 2 of The Coldest Winter Ever, and then there's a Midnight series, the character Midnight, so that's gonna be really cool. The next book, number 10, also my mom recommended me to read this book as well, and it's the Cartel series by Ashley and Jaquavis. So Ashley and Jaquavis, they're like a Black married writing, which I absolutely love. So this is my first book. The Cartel number 1 was the first book from this Ashley and Jaquavis. And y'all, this book had me. You guys can watch my reading vlog on pretty much all these books. I have a reading vlog on, so I will link them in the description box below. But yes, this was super cool. It was kind of like mafia romance. It has revenge, enemies to lovers. These characters were super ruthless. It was like where the people's loyalties were trusted even within their own family. So that was pretty cool. It was a lot of backstab. Yes, I absolutely loved it. I loved book 1, and then I read Murder Mamas, which is book 2 in the Cartel series. And that book had me screaming at the end. I was so frustrated at the end. I was like, how could you do this to me? So yes, book 11 was The Invisible Life. Hold on, y'all. I'm not even gonna fight over the airplane. Okay. Okay. So the next book, book number 11, is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab, and I absolutely enjoyed it. I really, I ate it up. I felt like it was very long, but I really enjoyed just the whole scenery. You had you're following Addie around the world, pretty much her history. She's pretty much like, what, 300 years old. She makes a deal with like this devil-like character that she eventually names him Luke and Lucian, and he reminded me of the Darkling so much. The dark and everything I loved, like nighttime, the stars, like writing, literature, art, library. Had this character named Henry. He owned a bookstore. That was pretty cool. It was a lot of romance. It was like a love triangle as well. The whole premise of the book was super cool. So I absolutely loved it. It had me crying at certain parts. But yes, I absolutely love the romance. Definitely with this Luke character who reminds me of the Darkling. So I love it. Next book is 12, which is Credence, or book number 12. Number 12 is Credence by Penelope Douglas. This was my second book that I read by Penelope Douglas. The first book was Punk 57, which I did like. I gave that book 5 stars. I absolutely love that book as well. But Credence was on a whole nother level, you guys. A whole nother level. It was taboo. I put all the... I try to wait for the airplane to pass. Okay, I put like the most boldest yellow tape on this book because this Credence is very taboo. It's not for everyone. I repeat, it's not for everyone, but it's for me, okay? I absolutely love Credence. You had Caleb, Noah, Jake. I absolutely love all 3, but Caleb. You have this beautiful, it's perfect for winter time because it's like this beautiful setting, this winter old forest setting, and they kind of get trapped in this cabin. The main character Tyrion, who's been going through some things, a tragedy happens which forces her to live with her half uncle and like her step uncle and her step cousins, well, half cousin, I don't know, but they all get trapped in like this cabin and things happen. So that's all I'm gonna say. But I don't know, it was for me. It's not for everyone, but it was for me. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. I didn't take it seriously. So yeah, I know it's horrible what happens in this book. It is just very like disgusting and wild and crazy. Now, I'm actually reading 5 stars. Like I said, it's not for everyone, but it's for me. Okay, it was for me. Number 13, we have Verity by Colleen Hoover. Verity was such a surprise from Colleen Hoover. I was absolutely loving it. More creepy. I really thought I was reading Elisa Jewell. So you're really getting a creepy romance with Verity, and it still has me confused and like I still don't even know what the truth is. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I'm just gonna say it's wild and try to read it without reading the back, okay? But I absolutely loved Verity. It really shocked me. I really was happy that Colleen Hoover like kind of took another little turn and really tried something new with her stories. So I thought that was cool. Then we have 6 of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. Ate it up. I absolutely love Cass, Mr. Dirty Hands, but I also just love all the characters. I can't even say who my favorite character is in 6 of Crows because I love all of them. They all have their own personality, and it's the fact how they like mesh together. It definitely gave me enemies to lovers with Matthias and Nina, and then Kaz wants to act all like a but he also has you know, his soft side, kind of. Which is really cool. I just loved the diversity in this book. And the fact that it was the same Grisha verse was really, really cool. You had a bunch of mentions of Shadow and Bone characters, which was really, really cool. It made me kind of fangirl and cry. I really loved like the setting, and it really, the best way I can describe it is like money heist mixed with, and the first book really gave Prison Break as well, so that's the best way I can describe it. Of course, within the Grisha verse, so you still have like these Grisha and the superpowers and stuff like that. Book 15, we have Beach Read by Emily Henry. Now y'all, it took my mom and I so long to get on the Emily Henry train. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like Emily Henry, but everybody talks about her, everybody loves her, but I'm like, I don't know, I'm not about to do it, it's not for me. So then we finally read Beach Read. We were like, we're gonna take a chance, and y'all, I feel so embarrassed, like I feel so bad. But yes, I absolutely loved Beach Read. Gus was everything. I really loved the romance, the rain scene. I was eating up the rain scene. It was deep. It had some humorous moments. It was grumpy. I absolutely loved it. Then 16, we have The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This was my first book by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I read 2 others. I read Carrie Soto Is Back and Maybe in Another Life. I absolutely love Taylor Jenkins Reid's writing. Loved it. So I was like, okay, let me give Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo a chance. And y'all, absolutely loved it. The twist in here in this book was amazing. It gave Hollywood 1950s. It gave Marilyn Monroe vibes. Man, it gave diversity. It gave representation. Absolutely loved it. Loved it. The romance in The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo was superb. Chef kiss, okay? Chef kiss. And just seeing, I don't know, it was like a blast from the past. I felt like I was really in Hollywood in the 1950s and 60s, and seeing like what Hollywood was and what Evelyn had to go through and her determination to be on top was really, really cool. So I absolutely love it. And like I said, the twist was everything. Then number 17, we have the Shatter Me series, specifically Unravel Me. So if you're looking for like a quick series to read, especially in the beginning of this year, I would definitely recommend the Shatter Me series. I mean, it speaks for itself. It's already very popular on BookTok, BookTube, and Bookstagram. I went in without really knowing anything but that the main character has a superpower where if people touch her, they like die, basically. So that's pretty crazy. So yeah, I absolutely love Unravel Me in the Shatter Me series, but specifically Unravel Me because we get more like of Kenji. I absolutely love Kenji. I love Kenji. I absolutely love Warner, which is pretty amazing because he's like the opposite of what my fictional type is, which I told you guys is like tall, like wears all black hair, villainous. But Warner really surprised me because he has like blonde hair, and I was like, oh, okay, but he's like villainous, and I absolutely love him. So he's like my first little blonde book boyfriend that I like. So that was pretty cool. It definitely gave me, well, you get like dystopia vibes and X-Men vibes, because I kind of get X-Men vibes. You get a love triangle. You get like this military type Call of Duty vibes. Yes, I really love when they're like in their like military outfits. Because all on my TikTok, as you guys know, I'm a gamer. So all I was picturing was Ghost in this book with Warner and Kenji when they were in their military outfits. Oh man. And I absolutely love, I think the little scratch out words is very creative, like when it's scratched out in the book. I find it really creative. I think some people think it's cheesy, but I absolutely loved it. Number 18 is The Death of the Black Widow by James Patterson. As you guys know, James Patterson is one of my favorite authors. But yeah, this book, Death of the Black Widow, really shocked me. It was like 500 pages and I read it in a day. Like, come on. I pretty much read all of his books in a day because they're just so like fast paced, and it's just, his tone is amazing. He makes funny characters, very stern characters too. But this was really interesting because we had like this unhuman serial killer with like superpowers, death of a kiss type of vibe. And then this cop, he's like very obsessed with her, and he pretty much like falls in love with her, and it's just wild. But I read it in a day. It's more creepy, more like fantasy mystery, but I loved it. Alright, number 19, we have Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. Come on now. Find a character that's so much like me, or has like similar qualities like me, like that's like nervous, kind of like an introvert, always in her head. That is this Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine. Man, in the ending, the twist, absolutely loved the romance in here. Yeah, if you like Norman Bates, then you would like this book as well. Alright, number 20, we have The Family Upstairs by Lisa Jewell. When I tell you, how can some strangers take over your family household, your house? Like, what? How do you allow that to happen? How do you allow that to happen? That's what happens. And Henry. That's all I'm gonna say. And Henry. But yeah, this book was wild. It's also a mystery. Bizarre characters. You have this strange man who takes over the family household. Like, you invite people into your home like a stranger out of being nice. And you know, show them hospitality and stuff, and next thing you know, they take over your house. So yeah, I can't wait to read book 2, The Family Remains, this year. Number 21 is One for My Enemy by Olivia Blake. This was my first book by Olivia Blake, but I was super excited. My favorite trope is enemies to lovers, or like forbidden love. I absolutely love that, and I absolutely love Romeo and Juliet. So the fact that this was kind of like based off of Romeo and Juliet was really cool, but it was also very different. And I love that it was superpowers, but it was in, I think, New York. So that was really, really cool. I love the beautiful artwork in the book as well. It was just so beautifully crafted. I was like, wow, this is a masterpiece. This is a masterpiece. So I absolutely love that. I can't wait to read more books by Olivia Blake. I think she has Atlas 6, so that's really exciting. We have 22, which is Haunting Adeline by H.D. Carlton. This was my first book by H.D. Carlton. I don't even have to say much because you guys already know. Book Talk, BookTube, Bookstagram. We absolutely love Haunting Adeline. I read this in February. I was hooked. Zaid. He could call me Little Mouse any day, of any time, of any week, of any year. Like, what? Zaid is just, it's just such dark romance. It's also like a mystery involved. There's killing involved. Definitely, if you touch her, you die type of vibes. Jealousy. Just the creativeness. Loved it. Very spicy. Then we have, I'm gonna read Hunting Adeline this year as well, which is book 2 of the duology. Alright, y'all, so now we're gonna go to 23, which is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. It was really fun to read Ninth House. It was pretty good. Buenos dias. So yeah, absolutely love Ninth House by Lee Bardugo. It was more paranormal fantasy, and it was a more adult fantasy, which I absolutely loved. With seeing Lee Bardugo's like creepy vibes. So yeah, Alex Stern was definitely like just a fierce, confident, cool heroine. So I absolutely love Alex Stern. She was pretty funny. The paranormal stuff was so cool. Her revenge. She got her revenge, man. It's stinky. It's stinky. I absolutely was applauding when she did what she did. Yeah. Can't wait to read book 2. Absolutely love Darlington. Once again, I absolutely love like more dark, villainous characters. Yeah. Even though I don't really think he's like a villain, but I just like Darlington. The honorable mentions would be Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. It really just made me think about life and absolutely love it. Then we have It Ends With Us series, but mainly It Ends With Us. Then we have Ugly Love, which was the spiciest of Colleen Hoover that I've read so far. I was like, okay. So that is it, you guys. That is my 23 books of 2023, which was really hard because I read like all of them were pretty spectacular. I didn't really have a book that I DNF'd, and I only probably had one book that was like 1 star or something like that, and that was the Sleeping Beauty thing. Other than that, they all were at least 3 stars, mainly 4 stars and 5 stars. I would just say like all my books are pretty good. So I can't wait to find out what we're gonna read this year, 2024. I'm gonna do at least my 24 books that I must read soon. But yeah, guys, I can't wait to see what this year is gonna bring with our book journey, and I'm just really excited. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what your guys' favorite books of this year was, of last year was, and what you are planning to read this year. I'm really excited. So thank you guys for watching. Bye.